kettlebell swing is, in my personal opinion, definitely in one of those S tier exercises. Now, what do I mean by that? Right, so we've got our A, B, C, D tiers, right, in terms of how overall good, whatever that means, good an exercise is. But if we really zoom out 30,000 feet, the kettlebell swing as a general exercise, and that's what I'm gonna call it right now, is in that S tier, that super tier, above A. We've got a lot of things going on for it. Now, let's talk about what a kettlebell swing is not. A kettlebell swing is not gonna be a hypertrophy exercise, meaning an exercise that builds massive amounts of muscle. Will it build some muscle if you're a little bit earlier on in your training phase? Absolutely, right? However, once you have passed that point, if you want to put big amounts of beef on your quads or hamstrings, kettlebell swing is probably not it. There are plenty of other exercises that stick to those primary principles of bodybuilding. Time under tension, our load, how slow we're moving in that eccentric phase, right? There's a lot of other factors. The kettlebell swing, as a general exercise though, falls into that power aspect. We often refer to one of its categories as metabolic conditioning. So we are working muscles in an anaerobic way, but at the same time, we're also working a lot of lungs in an aerobic way. So we get kind of two worlds in one. It puts it in just one of those places. There's a lot of research out there that talks about the what the hell effect, right? And that's basically the body's response to something as categorically efficient as the kettlebell swing, right? So primary function is going to be working that explosion in your posterior chain, right? When I say posterior chain, I'm talking about the muscles on the back side. So from our lats, our erectors, our glutes, our hamstrings, that's primarily what our posterior chain is. So it's an explosion / power exercise for the posterior chain. Excellent movement. As human beings, we are naturally posterior deficient. So adding in the kettlebell swing to the rest of our routine from a metabolic conditioning standpoint is excellent. We're gonna get into it now. We're gonna talk about it a little bit. Not gonna bore you guys too much with the narrative of how amazing the kettlebell swing is. I personally love it. It is in one of those categories of exercise that, man, if I could only choose like 5 exercises, 5 exercises, one of those hypotheticals that us fitness people always talk about, in a world where you can only choose 5, right? That world doesn't really exist. But if it did, the kettlebell swing, for me personally, is going to be on that list from an overall hybrid athlete standpoint. There's plenty of other things that we can talk about that develop the glutes, the hamstrings, low back in different ways, but adding in that athletic factor of the kettlebell swing versus some of its brothers and sisters, it's an excellent choice. Let's get into it a little bit more on mastering that technique, because this is one of those where we cannot afford to have poor technique. All right, so one of those primary cues when I'm starting off, I've got my positioned, I've got my feet set in that sumo setup, a little bit wider than shoulder width, toes are pointing out a little bit. And one of those main cues is to chop my hips, just like a karate chop. I chop my hips, and my hips move backwards. As they do that, I'm gonna feel that hamstring stretch, just like if someone asks you to reach down and touch your toes. I chop. I do have some knee bend, very similar to like an RDL knee bend, but I'm not squatting. A little bit of knee bend, and then my knee bend stops. I let my hips chop. I drive forward. I feel that stretch back there. My chest stays up. I fill up my chest with air. I keep that good pressure in the chest. That keeps my posture. So as that kettlebell comes back, I'm already preloaded. I drive with the hips. I lock out. I really extend. I extend until I can feel my glutes contract. When that kettlebell brings its natural momentum back down, I reload, I get that slight bend in knees, I'm preloaded again, I feel that stretch, and that's my cue to explode forward again. So my hips go back and they drive forward, back, they drive forward. What I don't want to do again is get into a squatting. Also, when I'm swinging, I want to make sure that my arms are just locked out. There is some techniques where you can do a bend, but the principle that we want to follow is that the arms are not lifting the weight. There's no front raise going on with the kettlebell. Our arms are really just grips for the kettlebell itself. So as we grip on, we kind of just let the rest of the arms just kind of stay unactivated. It's my hips driving. Notice how there's no space between here. When my hands come through my hips, they are the ones that power and thrust the forearm forward, which carries the kettlebell.
So when I have people starting off on the kettlebell swing, this is one of the exercises that I like to start them off. Set up a band, put it on the hips. There's that tension on the band. So when they start going through the swinging technique, they feel their hips driving the band forward and they feel that resistance. So when we're setting up, we want to make sure we don't just pick up the kettlebell. We get our feet into that sumo position, we reach, we tilt the bell back, we set up our chest, then we pull through and we start our swings. Finishing the kettlebell swing is going to be the same process in reverse. On that final rep, squat down low, reach your arms out, and the tip of the kettlebell hits the ground and you tilt it back.
No sunlight's off, I'm annoyed, I'm trying to focus. You fighting the front, could you quiet the noise? I'm paid to record, not delivered by the money, I'm at vantage point. Message from the highest, now it's coming up my mouth. Let it rain down on my body, watch it blossom in a month. We did the labor for nobody, now it's time to build the fruits of the art of our souls. Let the truth once again. I'm so ready, I'm so ready, I'm so ready. I'm so ready, I'm so ready, let's surrender. I stand here red-handed with the evidence. The simplest expression is of infinite. I'm sent to experience the visions of the limitless. I animate this body.